Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it would be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! Myself and my wife had just had our second child and moved into a duplex in an amazing neighborhood, even had its own playground. We moved in and greeted the neighbors, a bunch of younger people, but they seemed okay. The first day after moving in, we find that they are gone and they are left their 7-year-old on a school day outside our door with a bag of goldfish and a note asking us to watch him while they went out. Cue CPS call number 1. The neighbors and I got along really well. The old guy next door repaired bikes for a hobby, and the next door neighbor did woodworking and would always come over to see the kids and send his grandkids over to play too. They warned us that our upstairs neighbors were trouble, constant traffic going in and out, and parties every single night. This was 110% the truth. It got to the point we couldn't sleep at night and we had multiple altercations to the point it was full-blown yelling matches. The landlord was useless and would do nothing to get rid of them, so I bided my time. Eventually one night they came home in their red Mazda 3 and it was destroyed. They must have hit someone and ran. So I called the RCMP to let them know, as at the very least I figured they would get in deep crap. But oh man, I had no idea what I had just unleashed. Turns out the douchebag had a warrant out for his arrest for drug trafficking. He got hauled away in cuffs that night, and entitled woman too got a visit from CPS again as they left their son home alone again, and this wasn't once or twice, it was every single freaking day. So my wife went digging for names and found the mother on Facebook. Using public record searches, we found out that they owed Easy Home nearly $48,000 in assets as they had taken off from the original address with all of their furniture, including TVs and a huge sound system. 48 hours later, the sheriff was there with a box truck emptying their house. Took the beds, couches, TVs, the annoying subwoofer system, kitchen set, and even the dressers. CPS came shortly after and removed the child from the house. I did not enjoy seeing him taken away, but they never fed him. And he was always in the same clothing and it was falling apart. We went out of our way to make sure he had full meals when we could. Not gonna let a kid starve. The douchebag went to jail for drug possession. He was out on bail and hid the drugs in a dresser they took. The entitled woman 1 went to jail for assaulting the sheriff, and the entitled woman 2 actually had a happy ending. As far as I know, after she lost her son, she went through multiple programs to clean herself up, and she started working to provide for her son. Ran into her a couple of years ago and she thanked me for what I did. I got pro-revenge on a drug dealer and his girlfriend, and thankfully helped someone get on the right path. Normally, I'd never share anything this personal on social media. It's just not my thing. My thing is gardening and dogs and creeping Reddit and bad cell phone games, but sometimes we all just reach our breaking points. We all just say enough. Today is my 31st birthday during a global pandemic on March 31st. I would say that's notable momentous. Even eventful, some would say. But that's not why I'm writing to all of you. Coronavirus can kiss my butt. Hell is other people. All of this started partially by my own doing a year ago. I agreed to a room share with my knowingly narcissistic friend of 17 years. He was moving back to the States after living in China for 3 years. He seemed more well-adjusted, he had met the partner of his dreams, and I loved this person. I thought to myself, everything will be fine, OP, you know how to put up with his nonsense. You'll save money and it will be great. Obviously, the other doormat humans of the world know that this was a serious and egregious oversight on my part. Cartoonishly foolish. Definitely 100% will end with OP getting treated like dirt. All of you can skip to the end. Things were okay at first. He slept on my couch for 2 weeks without paying rent before my lease was up. Smoked all my weed, you know, the normal crap. Him, my brother whom I've been roommates with for the better part of 5 years, and myself signed a lease on the outskirts of a trendy neighborhood. It's the kind of neighborhood that has a hipster coffee shop right next to it, a restaurant that's only open 3 days a week right next to a condemned crack house, and you're pretty sure it's just a drug front, but whatever. You're only 10 minutes from downtown and no one's broken into your house yet. Life is great, and we all made decent money, even if we hated our jobs. 3 months in and the saga begins. The roommate smokes insane amounts of weed and pops Adderall to focus all the time. Laziest person I have ever seen. Roommate accuses my brother and I of stealing money from him because he spent $1,500 in 1 month on weed for personal use, and smokes the occasional bowl with us. Roommate has a job working at a highly specialized summer camp at a well-recognized university. Roommate works from home 9 months out of the year and supervises teenagers for 3 months during the summer, all while getting paid $45K a year with those cushy government benefits. I really wish I could get paid that to smoke weed and play computer games. Life really would be great. Roommate's fiancé gets arrested for drugs in a totalitarian country. I ask my roommate to treat me like a human because it freaks me out that he never speaks to me and never leaves his room. I'd also appreciate it if he clean up after himself. Roommate says I'm insensitive for asking him to be cordial occasionally because I'm experiencing depression also, and would like for him to, at the very least, ask me how my day was every once in a while. We were good friends for some time after all. He's just under so much stress right now due to fiancé troubles and job that he can't be bothered to acknowledge my existence. He also cannot be bothered to acknowledge the existence of his dishes, trash day, an ashtray, and his actual job. Summer comes and I quit my job because, well, I hate it, and it's slowly eating my soul. I don't have another job, but I am done. I take a job supervising children at the summer camp for 1 month. Things continue to deteriorate. Roommate's fiancé flees a totalitarian country to avoid mandatory community service in home state and comes to live in our house, rent-free indefinitely. Roommate's fiancé is a lovely person. My brother and I get along very well with her. Roommate elopes and they get a puppy. Violating lease terms as the only dog allowed on property is my brother's dog. But all is well. I get 2 jobs which I love, and I'm happy and busy and social, and I don't need that jerk. I pretty much write the friendship off at this point and just want to get through the lease without any volcanic explosions. Brother's partner gets pregnant and decides to keep it. She moves in with us too. I'm okay with this because she's a very good human and also needs a safe place to incubate a tiny person. I now live in a 3-bedroom house with 4 other humans and 2 dogs and continue to pay 1/3 of the rent and bills. Brother's partner and I do nearly all of the cleaning despite the fact that roommate and wife are always home and cooking, and we all go to work. Fall and winter come and go and I try to keep the peace. Spring arrives and Australia is on fire. Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter crash, China has some nasty crap going on, and I shamefully just watch Netflix. Everything is fine. After weeks of dodging this discussion, we politely tell the roommate that we do not wish to cohabitate with him and new wife after the end of the lease term. New baby is due in March, and I've accepted that I would rather live with a newborn than some psycho off of Craigslist. Trust me, just don't do it. I've been there. Roommate states that he and new wife just can't move right now due to nonsense, extenuating circumstances like how fake real jobs are too stressful during the summertime. He would rather illegally sublet from us indefinitely once the lease is up, and he'll be totally fine living with 5 people and a baby and 2 dogs. They will probably be out by the end of the summer. You don't want to argue with him despite the new baby being due in March and lease being up in April, so we agree to find a new place. Roommates and new wife can find another roommate. We give required notice of said intentions to our landlord. Roommate informs the landlord that he will be staying. We found a nice place for $400 a month, less than our current place in late February, and signed the lease in early March to move in April. Everything is great. Things begin to go further downhill. Roommate is all over the place, nice one day, jerk the next. Baby is late. We decide to move in early to the new place so the new mom and dad can have some peace with the new baby and we can leave this toxic environment. We pay prorated rent for March for the new house in addition to March rent for the old one. And the roommate begins to lose his ever-loving cool. Baby girl comes on March 16th via C-section. We move all of our stuff out in the middle of a global pandemic with a newborn baby 1 week after her birth. Roommate accuses my brother and I of endangering his life by collecting our belongings out of our own house. And our roommate starts saying terrible things to me. He states that they will not be continuing lease in said house after we've moved with a newborn baby in the middle of a global pandemic because they can't afford it anymore. Roommate states that they will withhold deposit as last month's rent from the landlord and pay us our deposit himself. I suspect they never intended to pay us any money at all. We got a puppy. And he eats a sock. Roommate says we can go screw ourselves, but I'm also a saint for being so patient with him while he spews toxic nuclear waste all over me for the past 2 weeks. All we want to do is get the last of our stuff out and clean the house so we can get our deposit back. Roommate bars us entry to the house and claims that he has spoken to the lawyer and he will call the cops if we come back because we are endangering his life and we have no legal right to enter. Roommate says we're broke, have no money, and he will make sure we don't get our deposit back. We're pieces of crappy human beings and so on and so on. Brother and I decided to call the landlord and explain the situation in detail, calmly and truthfully. The landlord sided with us and states that we did give her notice that we will be leaving at the end of the lease term and we are entitled to a walkthrough and whatever portion of our deposit is applicable, and she's happy to escort us onto the property with police escort in tow. The landlord states that the roommate has not contacted her since he asked for a reduction in rent and requested to resign the lease without a deposit. Landlord says she ain't trying to play no games and she has a son in his last year of college. She states that we actually were the only ones who paid rent and deposit. All payments transferred directly through brother's account, and she will be depositing all of the deposit directly back to us, and y'all can work it out amongst yourselves. We tell the landlord we are sorry the roommate is trying to screw her over. The landlord is sad that we couldn't stay, but she understands. Brother and I are happy and relieved to be done with this psycho. Roommate proceeds to call the landlord and realizes how much he has screwed himself. Proceeds to try and apologize to us. Very sorry that he is now responsible for $4,000 worth of rent due to not giving proper 60-day notice to vacate property and may lose another $500 in deposit money. He just wants to talk, except neither me nor my brother will answer any calls or texts. We are done. Puppy finally threw up the sock. Karma is a witch. I literally could not make this up if I tried. The world is a literal dystopian nightmare fever dream and everything is fine. It's my birthday. Let's party like 2012. Only safety and 6 feet apart with very clean hands, and don't forget to not touch your face. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.